Welcome to this explainer. You know, when we think of global defense, we usually picture massive, heavy hardware, right? But today we're unraveling a landscape that's shifting fast. We're stepping right into the invisible, multi-domain battlespace. It's a world where electrons, code, and artificial intelligence are literally just as critical as fighter jets. Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover upgrading traditional combat, the electromagnetic spectrum, tactical tech at the edge, artificial intelligence and cyber, and we'll wrap up with future-proofing global defense.
All right, Part 1, upgrading traditional combat, specifically the Su-30 MKI modernization.
So check out this number, a potential 150 crores in Indian rupees. That's a massive financial commitment. It really hits home that legacy physical hardware still commands enormous, and I mean enormous budgets. Even as we push deeper into digital warfare, keeping our existing physical fleets top tier is an absolute cornerstone of defense strategy.
A perfect example of this is a recent contract won by Mistral Solutions. They're an IACCS subsidiary. They've been brought on to develop electronic control units for the Indian Air Force's Su-30 MKI cooling system. And the scale here is wild. They're going from a small 18-month prototype phase of just 10 units straight into a massive 3 to 5 year production phase for 600 units. It shows the sheer staggering effort it takes just to keep traditional physical assets flying and fighting. But, as we know, these aircraft don't operate in a vacuum. They fly in skies literally saturated with invisible signals.
Which brings us to Section 2, the electromagnetic spectrum, the invisible front line.
It's absolutely crucial we baseline our understanding here, because literally everything moving forward relies on these two concepts. First, electronic warfare, or EW. This is all about aggressively controlling the spectrum. We're talking jamming the enemy or protecting allied forces. Then there's signals intelligence, or SIGINT, which is basically listening in and intercepting data. Honestly, whoever controls, intercepts, and disrupts these invisible electronic signals, they usually control the whole battle.
And we just saw a brilliant, real-world illustration of SIGINT in action. Back in August, a Russian IL-20M aircraft spent 6 days just probing Alaska's air defense identification zone. Now, this wasn't some navigational accident. It lined up perfectly with a major U.S. military exercise called Northern Edge. This plane was packed to the brim with specialized gear to scoop up both communications and electronic intelligence. By ignoring air traffic control, they weren't just gathering data on U.S. radars and radios, they were actively testing boundaries.
But you know, SIGINT is really just one side of the coin, right? Listening is completely passive. The real question we have to ask is, how do forces actively degrade these invisible surveillance systems during a hot, kinetic conflict? If the enemy is watching the skies with these massive radars, how do you actually take their eyes out?
Well, looking impartially at the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, we're seeing a fascinating strategy unfold. Ukrainian forces are systematically using UAVs, drones, to strike incredibly advanced, highly expensive Russian air surveillance radars right on the border. By destroying systems like the Sopka-2 and the P-14F Lena, they are actively rolling back that surveillance coverage. They're basically punching holes in the radar to create blind spots they can exploit later.
So, to prepare for these exact types of intense signal engagements, nations are out there testing their latest EW kits in real-world environments. Just recently, at the EW Live event in Tartu, Estonia, NATO allies quite literally battled it out in the electromagnetic spectrum. And the craziest part? This invisible firepower demonstration happened less than 100 kilometers from the Russian border. That sends a very clear, if totally invisible, strategic message about readiness.
All right, moving on to Section 3. Tactical tech at the edge, shrinking the footprint.
The really crucial takeaway here is the staggering contrast in scale. I mean, historically, if you wanted EW capabilities, you needed these massive armored vehicles, like the M133 medical evacuation variants, just to handle the immense power requirements. But today, it's a whole different ballgame. We have Mastodon Design's TLS backpacks for soldiers on foot. And even more mind-blowing is Northrop Grumman's Teams payload. Get this, it is literally smaller than a standard business card, yet in a recent live demo, this tiny little device simultaneously knocked out 3 different radios spread across a wide frequency range. Absolutely wild.
And the strategic application of this tech shrinking down is totally global. The US, Australia, and New Zealand armies are all acquiring these exact same compact TLS backpacks. Doing this ensures a completely unified, interoperable electromagnetic response across the Asia-Pacific region. If a conflict breaks out, these allied troops are going to be speaking the exact same electronic language, which just vastly simplifies logistics and battlefield coordination.
Let's pivot to Section 4, Artificial Intelligence and Cyber, the Digital Battlefield.
Now, the threats here aren't just military. They are deeply, deeply commercial. Take the SLH Alliance, for example. It's basically a supergroup of notorious hacking syndicates, including Scattered Spider and Lapsus. They're running this crazy extortion-as-a-service model that has breached massive corporate systems, everyone from Salesforce to Qantas Aviation, exposing millions of records. And they are resilient. When their Telegram command channels get taken down by authorities, they literally rebuild them within hours. This brings massive economic risks directly to the digital infrastructure we use every single day. To manage these incredibly complex, fast-moving digital threats, defense contractors are having to fight fire with AI. Lockheed Martin, for instance, introduced a framework called Star.os to simplify all this dense architecture. By dividing it up into a developer toolkit, an interoperability connector, and a user interface, they are finally allowing disconnected AI defense systems to actually talk to each other. They can share threat information seamlessly, in real time.
And thankfully, we are moving way past that outdated 1980s paradigm of just detecting and responding to a breach. Companies like Blackwired are actually using AI for preemptive hunting. Their Third Watch platform uses a methodology they call Aim, Ready, Fire. It's about visually mapping external threats to known vulnerabilities before an attack even launches. They are neutralizing cyber adversaries while they're still in the reconnaissance phase. It's basically stopping the digital bullet before it even leaves the chamber.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Future-Proofing Global Defense, the Quantum Horizon.
So, as quantum computing rapidly evolves, the encryption that protects, well, everything, from your personal banking app to highly classified military drone feeds, is at risk of becoming completely obsolete overnight. Recognizing this huge vulnerability, major defense players like STV Group have partnered with Post-Quantum. They are racing to deploy encryption that can actually withstand the unprecedented processing power of tomorrow's quantum machines. It is literally a global race against time to upgrade the world's digital armor.
And that brings us to the core anxiety of modern cyber defense. I'll leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. Right now, adversaries are conducting what are called harvest now, decrypt later attacks. They are actively stealing vast troves of encrypted, seemingly unreadable data today, and just sitting on it, waiting for tomorrow's quantum computers to easily crack it open. So if our deepest secrets are already sitting on an adversary's hard drive, just waiting for a key, how secure is our invisible battle space right now? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the layers of the world around you.